Awesome. So Simran has been a part of the Mithram Foundation and Befrienders India for more than 2 years, and she's an active advocate for mental health and talking about suicide. She's completed her master's in social work from Christ University in Bangalore and is currently working as a clinical social worker. So we are in the perfect hands. So why don't you tell us a bit about Mithram Foundation and what you do?
All right. Okay. So Mithun Foundation is basically a suicide prevention helpline. It is part of Befrienders India, which is again a part of Befrienders worldwide. In Befrienders India, there are about more than 10 centers across India, and all follow the same guidelines and same principles. We provide non-judgmental, unconditional emotional support to anybody who reaches out to us, whether they are depressed, stressed, or even suicidal. And yeah, we do not give any advice, we do not give any suggestion, no counseling, just listening, because we believe that talking helps. We believe just active listening helps the person to ventilate and talk about their feelings, which is
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so to confirm, we have a bit of a worldwide audience. So Befrienders Worldwide is part of a larger parent organization that's global, and then you work with the Indian chapter, right? That's awesome. Very cool. So let's jump right into it. I will see if anybody has any questions. Selfishly, I'm asking all the questions that I'm interested in. So if anyone has questions, please put it in the chat. We want to answer it, and I'll carve out time to go through any question anybody has. So I'll start with my first question, Simran. So you just mentioned that Mithram volunteers don't judge or tell people what to do, and they practice really attentive listening. And I think it's very easy to default to give someone advice in moments like that. Even if you have good intent, it probably harms them more than it helps them. So can you, I guess before we go into how to be an attentive listener, can you tell people why it's important not to advise anyone on what to do unless you are a professional?
Like you said, more than often it actually happens that it does more harm than it does good, because it comes from a place where we want that advice to work for that person. We do not think that, okay, the person might need this advice, but it's coming from a space where I believe that this will help for you and you need to do this. You know? So it's my perspective, and many times it might just happen that they just want to talk. They just want an unbiased, non-judgmental space where they just want to talk about their feelings. They don't even want a solution. They just want to talk, and they just want to vent out all their feelings, all the distress that they have been feeling. So, you know, advice might take them away from the pain, take them away from the feelings, the distressing feelings that they have been having. So it's very important that just listen, don't judge them, don't interrupt them. It's okay if you can't help them, you know, you can't fix them. And the advice comes from that space, right? I want to fix you. I want you come out of this.
Yeah.
If it's a closed one, that feeling just intensifies, right? Where I just want to see you in a better place right now. So I will do whatever I can to help you get out of this.
Yeah.
Not bad, which is not wrong, but let's take a step back and also think what the person needs. If the person just wants to vent out, let them give that space and let them talk about whatever is bothering them.
So let's break that down even further. So if I am having a conversation with someone and they're venting and ranting about something, or in a really difficult place, what are some tactical things I can do to help them? So, can you give us like one or two things that I can do just for myself, count to 3 in your head and not say anything? Like, what are some things that I can do to really practice attentive listening?
First of all, just thank them that you have reached out, because many a times it is so difficult to even reach out to ask that help. To just drop a message to a friend saying that, hey, I want to talk, or just to randomly call a helpline and talk to a stranger, hey, something is bothering me, I want to talk.
Yeah.
So first, thank them. Hey, thank you for reaching out. I'm glad you did, and I'm here for you. Whatever I'm listening. I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm not going to judge you. So yeah, please go on. Please talk. Yeah, let's check with them, and it's all right if you don't have anything to say as well, right? They will understand.
Yeah.
As simple as saying that, hey, I really do not know what to say to you right now, but please go on. I'm just listening to you. And that many a times helps the person to just feel okay, safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
More.
That's awesome. So I actually got a question in the chat. How do you make individuals that call the Mithram helpline, how do you make them trust the volunteers, that they don't know that they're confiding in? How does that work? And yeah, can you speak more to that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So all our services are pretty confidential. We do not record numbers. We do not know where you're calling from. We do not ask your name, any personal details. So everything that you share is absolutely confidential. You can reach out to anonymously, and you can share as much as you're comfortable sharing. At times, you do not even have to talk about the details about the situation. You can share how you're feeling or what is affecting you right now, and that's all right. We'll be there with you on the line at that moment, without judging you, without asking too many personal details, without breaking the confidentiality. We'll just be with you on the line.
That's awesome. I have a question for you from the chat. I'm just going to go through them in real time as they come up. If I know someone who's going through something and they're not comfortable sharing it with someone they know, how can I encourage them to reach out to a helpline? This is actually one of the questions I have because I think it's a very important one. In my head, often I associate a helpline with being sort of like the last line, or if I'm really in a difficult place, that's when I get on the phone with a helpline. So can you just explain to us, like, how do you encourage a loved one to reach out to a helpline without seeming dismissive or submissive of their feelings?
Yeah, absolutely. And helplines, especially in India, it is still an emerging thing. Many people do not even know there are some helplines like this in India where people can reach out to. So just check with them, probably. Just let them know. First, of course, talk to them. See what's bothering them, how they feel. If you feel they need more professional help, then definitely ask them to reach out. Not in the space where you're forcing them that, okay, you're crazy, or you are really in a distant place. You have to go see someone.
Yeah,
definitely do that. Check with them how they're feeling. If they would like to seek help, if they would like to seek any support, then ask them what kind of support they want to do. Health professionals on there are like various. We have counselors, we have therapists, we have psychiatrists, we have clinical social workers. There are like many on the spectrum.
Yeah.
So check what the need is. And Mitram doesn't give any help in terms of advising or counseling, but if they need that space to talk through things and just while they're figuring it out, which probably would be the right profession for them to reach out to, till that, from call Mitram and just talk and decide on whichever option they would like.
That's awesome. So basically present it as just another resource as anything else would be in their lives, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Help them through the time that they're going through, right? So they might not even be a therapist at that moment. Maybe just someone who could listen to them non-judgmentally.
Yeah.
If they need mental health problems, of course, go ahead and give them that help.
Yeah. So as a volunteer, are you listening to often concerns that are kind of sit in a spectrum of different levels of severity in terms of, trivial things that supposedly trivial things in our lives that we could call and just talk to the helpline about, to maybe more serious things like you're feeling, you're getting suicidal thoughts? Like, is there a spectrum that you often see with helplines?
Definitely. And many times it might happen that it seems trivial for us, but that is something deal for someone else.
Yeah.
So as simple as maybe just going through a breakup. Me as a friend would think that, okay, it's just a breakup.
Yeah.
Person, it's something that has ended. It's one kind of a grief that you're losing that person, and you're going through that one kind of a grief. So it's a big thing for them. So
yeah,
definitely reach out, talk about it. Could be anything, could be just as simple as an exam stress, right? That might be causing a great deal of anxiety and depression to you. So talk about it. It doesn't have to be only suicidal. So we encourage all kinds of people to reach out to us, not just suicidal. You don't have to be suicidal to reach out to Mitram. You can be stressed, you could be depressed, you could be anxious, or you just want to talk about your feelings that are distressing you currently.
Yeah. That's super helpful. So we spoke a bit about attentive listening. The other aspect of that is the judgment aspect. I think as human beings, we can default to being very judgmental and looking at things from our gaze. And you were just talking about it as well. So how do we remain non-judgmental when someone we love is coming to us and sharing something that they're going through, and we might have our own thoughts about it, or, so how do you deal with that and remain sort of neutral in your viewpoint when you're just there to support someone?
It gets very difficult, especially if it's a close one reaching out to you, you are like, oh my God, you're going through something like this. I can't even believe. That's your first thought.
Yep.
And you just want to jump in and you want to take control of the situation. You want to get them out of this. You are doing everything that isn't under your control to just help them out of it. In you kind of forget the person who's actually going through it. We forget what their need is, what they want to go, what they really need right now. So definitely ask them how you're feeling. Is there something that I can do for you? How can I help you right now? How can I support you better right now? And it's all right if you're being judgmental as well. Recognizing that is very important, and letting them know, hey, I can only listen to you so much because I'm getting judgmental over here. Maybe I'm not able to support you better. So why don't you
just being honest in your interaction then, right?
Absolutely. Even saying honest, I really do not know what to say right now to you, or I just do not know how to help you right now, but I am here. I am listening to you.
Yeah.
So be as honest as you can.
We have a great question in the chat. So it must be tough listening to serious issues from those who call in. How do the volunteers manage to stay true to the cause without personally getting affected? I have this question of anyone who's a practitioner in the mental health space. I'm really curious to get your perspective on it.
Yeah, it's a very good question. So as we offer the safe and non-judgmental space to all our callers, we offer the similar safe and non-judgmental space to our volunteers as well. We take the confidentiality very seriously. So anything that has been shared to the volunteers at Mitram stays in the Mitram organization only. So all the calls or whatever the volunteers are feeling, they can talk to each other in the Mitram organization only. They can with each other, and they can just vent out how all the calls have been for them, or anything that has been challenging personally as well. So we offer that safe space for our volunteers as well, because we need to take care of ourselves. Only then we would be able to support anyone else who reaches out to us. So we continue to do the same services with our volunteers as well.
That's awesome. So I'm going to come back to volunteering because I want to end on that note in case there are people who are interested in volunteering with Mitram or want to seek help from the helpline. We'll come back to that. One of the questions I've seen a few now on the chat is really tied to anxiety, which I think is like the sentiment of the year in terms of what so many of us have been experiencing. So what can I do if I feel my anxiety is escalating to a panic attack? Like how do you... What can you do before you reach out to a helpline and possibly like leading up to that point?
All right. So like I said, I am not a professional to give an advice on anxiety or how you could cope with it. But if you feel comfortable, you could reach out and you could talk about it. You could take us through your anxiety. You could tell us how it's making you feel, how it is affecting you emotionally, how you have been coping, how it's been for you all these years, just going through it. And it's not necessary to share the details about it. If you feel comfortable, you could also share silence on the call, and we are up for that as well. We could be with you silently on the call as you just process through the anxiety, or as you just cope with the anxiety. So we are with you either way. So, without advice, in the space with you.
Love it. One of the questions I wanted to ask is around grief. So I'm sure you've received calls with people who have experienced personal loss. We've all at this point either know someone or have personally experienced loss this year. So many of us are grieving. Many of us know people who are grieving. So how can we be there for people who are grieving? Some of the things you've mentioned around attentive listening and not being judgmental or giving advice, I think that very much applies to this. But in particular, are there any other things that stand out to you in terms of, what you say to a friend or family member who's lost someone? I think we're never really taught that in school or college or in our life, and then we're awkward when it happens. So I'd love to get your perspective on that.
Yeah, that's so grief is such an awkward topic, right? In our society where we just do not know what to say. We really do not know. We are so awkward. Maybe we want to cry with that person. Maybe we are just silently watching that, or we are just probably not knowing what to do, and we are just standing there awkwardly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, we just have not been taught about what grief is and how to handle. So again, I would like to re-emphasize that check with what the person needs, check what they want, what their need is right now. Is their need crying? So let them cry. Our first response would be, please do not cry, okay? We always stop someone from crying, okay? Like, just don't cry. So let them, like, if that is helping them out, let them cry.
Yeah.
Our immediate responses would be, they are in a better place right now. Or this is what God wanted.
Yeah.
Or like we come up with all kind of cliche.
Every person I often hear, that they lived a great life. They were around for X number of years. So which I don't find helpful, but that's something we commonly say, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we want to go into the details as well. Okay, how did it happen? We want to go into analyzing the problem and fixing the problem. So let's not do all of that. Let's just take a step back and check what the grieving person needs right now.
Mm-hmm.
They just need a shoulder to cry on. Do they just want to talk about the person? At times we're also very awkward to listen about the person who has passed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are feeling awkward, then it's all right to say, hey, I'm not in the mindset right now to listen, but I know someone who would. And just pass that person to maybe a helpline or to someone who would be able to do a better job right now.
I think what you said is spot on. I think we need to normalize being able to say, hey, reach out to a helpline if you need it, as a sign of affection and care, right? And not like, oh, I don't care about you, that's why I'm asking you to reach out to a helpline. I think we're not there yet as a society globally. But I love what you're saying. It very much feels like, asking someone you love to go to a helpline or to a therapist or to seek help. That's the, highest sign of affection if you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just understanding your own limitations as well, right? Like, listen, see, I care about you, but this is where my limitations are. After this point, maybe I will become judgmental. Maybe I will not do my best to support you. So, I'm just going to pass on, like, just see, this is a helpline. They would be able to support you better. So why don't you? So yeah, just try and understand what the person needs. Check with them if they want to talk about the person who they have lost. Let them cry if they want to, give them that space to grieve, to express, just be patient with them and just be empathetic.
That's awesome. Lots of questions in the chat, so let me go through those. Are there any metrics through which Mithram tracks the performance of the helpline and the volunteers?
All right. We do not really have any metrics per se. Our services are... we do not charge anything for our services. We are and volunteer-run organizations. We don't really track anything. Like I said, all our calls are also anonymous and confidential, so we do not know who's calling. But we just get a understanding about how many calls that we have got monthly. So we have a track about that. No personal details more than that.
Okay, awesome. Another question: what can we do to improve mental health awareness in our society?
Right.
It's a big question.
Firstly, about talking openly about it, destigmatizing these helplines, the therapy, psychiatric help, all of that. So just being open and comfortable discussing and openly saying out loud that, hey, you know what, I'm anxious right now, or I'm depressed right now, or even I'm suicidal right now, because it takes courage to even say that out loud that, hey, I might be suicidal right now. I have thoughts of ending my life right now, because the first person like, you're crazy, like, oh, your life is so good, why do you want to end your life?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, just saying, giving that empathetic space to, hey, you can talk to me about it. Okay, let's.
That's awesome. So I know there are a couple of questions coming in around volunteering with Mithram. So how do you go about volunteering? What is the criteria to be eligible to be a volunteer? Can you speak a bit about that process and kind of the commitment? Is it ongoing or for a period of time? How does that work?
All right, so we have volunteers from all walks of life. There's no age criteria as such. We just take volunteers above 18 years of age. There's no compulsion that you have to have a psychology background to join Mithram, nothing like that. We just need people who are empathetic, who have an open perspective, who would be open to listening and adapting to the Mithran principles and being comfortable talking about suicide, talking about various mental health issues. And if you are one of them, then definitely you can reach out to us. I think my colleague would definitely share the email ID on the chat. And yeah, we go through an intensive 6-day training program where we have trainers who are training in empathy listening, who are in active listening, non-judgmental supporting. So yeah, after that, after an interview and all of that, you are finally with them.
That's awesome. And so I'm assuming with our whole pandemic reality, you can volunteer from the comfort of your home, or is there a physical center? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we do have a center located in Bangalore. For the new volunteers, we ideally would suggest them to come to the center, but for older volunteers, they have been taking calls remotely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can always work around that once the pandemic and all of that has been settled out. So yeah, so she is an email where anyone who's feeling stressed, distressed, or suicidal, they can reach out to us on that, and we also support on emails as well.
Okay, perfect. That's awesome. Well, I know we're almost at time, but I'm really grateful that you were able to jump on this live. I know there's no shortage of other places you can be at this time, even if it's from the comfort of our home. Lots of work to be done. So I just want you to end with sort of any, last thoughts or comments on what people should do, or in terms of being there for other people, or why helplines can really help anyone. And you should reach out if you have something that's troubling you or something that is causing a negative emotion. I'll give it to you to sort of wrap up the live.
All right. So yeah, definitely. I mean, we have, as we all know, we have lack of resources in India, especially with mental health professionals. There's a huge gap between the people who want to reach out for mental health help, but they just do not have the right therapist, maybe the right psychiatrist, or have other financial issues, or just the stigma associated going to a therapist or to a psychiatrist. So in that sense, helplines are definitely one of the options which people can choose. They can call at comfort, at their own space, again confidentially, anonymously. Nobody would come to know that they have called a helpline and they've spoken to a helpline. So in that sense, it's definitely one of the options that they can always consider. And yeah, we are here. No matter how much stress you're feeling, we would always be here and supporting you emotionally, sharing that space with you, be it in silence, be it in your anxiety attack, be it in your depression, be it in the high distress where you're feeling suicidal as well. We would not be judgmental, and we would always be there for you.
I love that. I think it's so important to bring awareness to helplines, because I think everyone is dealing with something right now, and at any point in time. And so to respect other people's boundaries as well, it doesn't mean you have to then stop yourself from getting help. So I love just reframing how we look at helplines, to look at it as just a resource. It doesn't mean you're not loved or you don't have people in your family or circles who care about you. It's just another avenue to seek help, right?
Absolutely. And at times it is very, very, very difficult to take that first step and to reach out to someone. But if you can, then yes, definitely do it. There are people who have been trained who will be.
And these are free services as well, right? Absolutely free.
Yeah, absolutely free. We do not charge anything, neither from our calls, neither from our emails. So
it's extremely accessible and available to anyone who has a phone and is able to call someone. Yeah.
My colleague would put on the phone number, but we are available from Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. all days of the week. Monday to Saturday, we are usually open on any holidays as well. And if not, if you cannot call and talk to us, then we are available 24/7 on emails. We usually respond within the 3 to 4 days time, but we will respond definitely, and we will get back to you and be there for you emotionally.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for your time, Simran. More power to you. I think what you're doing is it's very important work, and you're doing it for free and helping so many people. So thank you, and thank you, Mitram Foundation and Befrienders India and worldwide for the work that you're doing. And I'm sure slowly but surely we'll get to a point where we can normalize these things even further. Just like how therapy is becoming something that people are talking more and more about, I think helplines are also equally important to talk about. So thank you. We will save this live and post it onto our Instagram page as well as our YouTube page. If you have any other questions, feel free to directly message us or Mitram Foundation on Instagram, and they can answer any questions you have.
Definitely, we will.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Take care.